Good morning, everybody. This is Pastor Willie from Crossroads Church here in snowy Clifton, New Jersey this morning. But prayer cannot be stopped. Whether you're at home, and I know most of you are at home today, praying. I'm going to pray here, and you pray wherever you are. It's the beauty of prayer. And today we're going to talk about getting back to basics on the topic of sin. Back to basics. Let's talk about sin. You know, sometimes we think becoming more mature means having a deeper revelation, following after maybe prophecy of the end times, or all these not esoteric, but all these doctrines that are deep. I've had people say to me, you know, I want to have a deeper Bible study. But I always think in my mind, what's important is the basics. And we always have to go back to the basics. The basics, rightly understood, are the deepest doctrines you could ever understand. And they are the foundation and the building and the whole part of our life with Christ. So today we're going to talk about a basic, which is an understanding about sin. And to understand the basics, we have to go back to the beginning. Genesis, which means beginning, has a lot to say about sin. Now, Adam and Eve have fallen, so sin has entered the world. So we're going to look at Genesis chapter 4. The first two men born of a woman on the earth, Cain and Abel. And they bring an offering to God. Now, Abel brings the best offering, the best of his flock. Cain apparently brings a whatever type of offering to God. Isn't that true today? We can come to church and I'm going to have my best. I'm going to be attentive. I'm going to hear from God today. And other people come with whatever, I'm going. So that was Cain's attitude, or whatever attitude towards worshiping God. And so this God accepts Abel's offering because it was done with his whole heart. It was all he had. And that's wonderful. God will accept my offering, your offering. I'm not talking about money, offering of ourselves. But Cain's offering, God didn't accept because it was a whatever offering. There's a lesson right there. So Cain, it says in verse 5, it says, but about God, but on Cain and his offering, God did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. Now Ephesians tells us that anger is a door for Satan. Okay, anger undealt with. Don't let the sun go down while you're angry. So he's angry. He's in a dangerous place. So look what happens next, and this is what we're going to focus on, 6 through 8. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted?" So in other words, what's the reason you're angry? There are good reasons Jesus got angry, and there are bad reasons to be angry, sinful reasons to be angry. And he was in a competitive mode. He didn't like that his brother was getting the better commendation than he. Not a good reason to be angry. And God tells him, you know, if you do what is right, you will be accepted. And that's a principle with God. If you do what is right, you live a righteous life, you live following God's commandments, surrendering your life to Him, letting Him guide your life, you'll be accepted by God. If you don't, if you have a whatever attitude, even though you show up to the services, you're not going to be accepted by God. Simple. It's an equal opportunity for everybody. If you do what is right, you live the right way, you too will be accepted. And then he says this, and this is amazing. But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. So once you do not do what is right, maybe it's not sin yet, but you've opened the door. Sin is crouching at your door, and the door is open when you don't do what is right. That whatever attitude, sin is crouching at the door with that whatever attitude. And its desire is to have you. So crouching, it's like an enemy just crouching, waiting to pounce, waiting for that situation to happen. So this is the basics. If you do what is right, you'll be accepted. If you do not do what is right, sin is going to be right there, waiting to take an opportunity. Sin is crouching at your door, and sin desires to have you. It's not that just sin wants you to commit an act, or sin causes you to commit an act. Sin wants to control you. And anger, my friends, will control you, control your life. Bitterness, unforgiveness, lust, these things will control your life. Hatred will control your life. Sin desires to have you. Once you let it in, it takes over. It's like a little seed. It spreads. And listen, I once heard somebody say that when you have to kill sin while it's a baby. You can't let it grow until it becomes a monster you can't fight against. And some of you, I know, are in that situation. You've allowed it to fester. You've played with something. Maybe lust, maybe unforgiveness, maybe just this bitter spirit. And it's grown and grown and grown. And it's become who you are. And you can't conquer it because it's too big now. Sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you. But you must rule over it. Must. There's no option. You can't play with it. You can't toy with it. You can't just let it keep going on. You must rule over it. So how do you rule over sin? It starts with confession, confessing your sin and opening your heart and asking God to give you a new heart that can obey him and take out that old heart of stone. And maybe in practical matters, an accountability. Someone you can confess to. You confess to God, or you confess to another person. And they help you walk in holiness. You must do whatever is possible to rule it. And back in Romans 6:16, he says, don't you know that when you offer yourselves to someone as obedient slaves, you are the slaves to the one you obey, whether you are slaves to sin, which leads to death, or to obedience, which leads to righteousness. So once you open that door and you let sin in, you're going to become a slave of sin. It's going to take over. And a slave has no control over themselves anymore. And sin will control your life. Sin will destroy your life. And this is kind of a warning to somebody out there listening. Deal with it now. You must rule over it. Go to a pastor. Go to a leader. Confess it. Don't be embarrassed. Confess it. That's a strategy of Satan also. Keep you from confessing it and deal with it. Break it open. God told him what to do. But Cain ignored it. And we know that if you know the story, he took his brother outside, said, let's go out to the field. While they're in the field, Cain attacked his brother and killed him. Wow. It all started with him entertaining sin, of whatever attitude, and it ended up in the first murder in the history of mankind, murdering his brother. Because sin, my friends, will rule you, but you must rule it. Maybe this is a wake-up call for you. Stop it now. Kill it now. Do whatever it takes. Give no rest to your eyes, no rest to your feet until you resolve sin, because it will rule you. It will take you to places you don't want to go, and it will destroy you. back to the basics. That's the basics. A wake-up call about sin and its destructive nature. God bless you. I hope that instructs you today, guides you today. And if you need prayer, you can always instant message me. You can send me a text, whatever. Put a comment below, and I'll be happy to pray for you. I'm devoting today to prayer this morning. And our prayer focus this morning is going to be on examining our hearts, our own hearts. That's where it starts. And asking God to show us what we need to confess. Show us things that we need to get rid of. And then praying for churches. That churches will be places of holiness. That people will come in and feel conviction, but they'd also feel the love of Jesus. And they confess and be free. And then as always, we're going to pray that Jesus would build his house of prayer. And the gates of hell will not prevail against it. So this is Pastor Willie. I will see you again next Wednesday. God bless you.